Diverse group of folks across APAC and globally on what we at EY call future work now. The emphasis is on now because it is our reality today. Some of this reality is what we experience in our daily work lives as leaders and employees. Using Microsoft Teams to bring our virtual network together, I managed to run my whole day with just my cell phone thanks to Outlook. Managers have started viewing office real estate more as a value generator than a space to house people. Really, the future of work is more impactful than just the technology experience or the physical environment. Okay, let's peel back this onion, starting with the organization, going deeper into how we work as teams, and then onto our individual experiences. Let's ask ourselves some tricky questions and see if we, our organizations, are working aggressively enough to adapt to future work now. Let me read to you a sentence from an EY approach to future work. Organization, advancing the organization through purpose-driven transformation and strategies, workplace transformation that augments the digital experience, and advanced analytics that drive new insights into company performance. The word that jumps out at me is purpose. At EY, I am proud of our purpose to build a better working world. Microsoft's purpose is to empower us to achieve more. So what do these have in common? That firms, companies, are merging their corporate agenda with a broader social mandate. I work with my clients to clearly articulate purpose. So what is this future corporation's business purpose and strategy? How and where will we grow in the next 3 years? HR directors and CEOs are asking me, what will my workforce look like? And more importantly, how will they want to work? What has remained unchanged, though, is the need for leadership. So, what kind of leaders do we need to be in this transformative age? For example, in my agile teams, I'm learning my new position, my new role, that I'm not a steering committee member and the decisions are being made by the Scrum teams and not by me, and that I only get to see whatever it is that they are ready to reveal when they are ready to reveal it. This is quite a challenge for me, as I grew up in organizations that had quite a hierarchical, vertical chain of command. This new agility is forcing me to rethink trust in a broader sense than just digital trust. This Microsoft Summit does address the question of trust, and I'm sure to be listening in on one of those sessions. Okay, let's peel back to the next layer. So organization, the next layer is teams. For purpose to be lived, teams need to be superpowered. Accelerating team performance through development of new digital competencies, new leadership styles, and new team structures that augment a virtual workforce. One of my German clients, a life sciences company, introduced a program on agility, which included using agile as a methodology. The emphasis, though, was not so much on the methodology, but on the mindset. Key to team success is also being able to measure, recognize, reward teams' effectiveness on performance and purpose. Performance and reward structures need to be in place, not only to reinforce desired behavior, but more importantly, to inspire the individuals in teams. You know, you'll hear Alberto next. Alberto will tell the story behind Microsoft's transformation. And since culture is at the heart of team success, Melanie will follow up with the culture transformation at Microsoft. This should bring to life the principles of organization to team to individual. Okay, now down to the core of the onion, the individual. And I really wish I had come up with a better analogy than an onion. But anyway, it is the responsibility of organizations, of leaders like ourselves, and teams to activate the individual through maybe a comprehensive program that addresses the individual's mind, motivation, relationships, role, rewards, and the environment. Hyper-personalization of the employee experience is where I'm going with this. We, as employees, are looking to work as a means of growth and fulfillment. Talking of work-life balance is now considered quite 1980s. Really, we need to be talking about wellness and integration. That is what is on our minds. Let's take an example. One of my clients, leading in consumer products and producing one of my favorite chocolates, has a program on resilience to prepare employees for future growth and acquisitions, providing employees the skills and the care needed to build their change muscle, to make them stronger and faster at handling their aggressive growth agenda. As leaders, we need to actively create an environment aimed at helping each employee bring their best selves to work by increasing mindfulness, by mitigating stressors, and changing of mindset to better respond to external stimuli. The key to embracing future work now is to challenge the current paradigms in ourselves and in our organizations beyond just the superficial. Peel back the layers of this onion and dive right in. In EY, we believe that better the question, better the answer, better the world works. So start questioning. Here's one from me. Will robots really take away my job? Considering that 1 in 4 jobs will be replaced by robotics process automation in the next 5 years, I've been thinking about what skills I need to learn. Okay, here's another one. How exactly will AI support decision making? What do my leaders and employees need to learn today to be able to harness AI tomorrow? What should my location strategy be, taking into account a nimble, gig-based virtual workforce? And how do we weave wellness into the employee experience and provide space for mind clarity? As leaders, if we haven't infused purpose just as yet, we really should be getting on with it. Purpose is an aspirational reason for being that serves as the backbone of future work now. Purpose galvanizes people to ignite long-lasting, positive change and fuels the leap towards inspiration. Purpose is only the first step. How we bring the future of work now would be to continue the journey with focus on people, on technology, and on managing the change. The rest of the sessions in the Microsoft Future Work Summit should help you move from these concepts to action, with the key word being now. Thank you.
Learning it boils down to 5 things. Ownership and empowerment, teams that are really empowered and are accountable. A learning culture that we also call a growth mindset. Mistakes are welcome. We need to create an environment where we learn from each other. It's not about knowing everything, it's about learning constantly. Communication, and lastly, agility. While we transform our selling, operation, and financial processes to match customer need, at the end of the day, the true engine of digital transformation is the cultural change. It's how you make everybody adopt the culture and also, communicate the culture in their own style. What are the 3 things I personally learned as leader? The number one is you need to make the culture real, and you need to make it authentic. It's about making symbolic changes, big and small, at different levels. As a company, we do normally the annual hackathon, the 1 week where we experiment with ideas, with innovation. In APAC, I'm leading the Giving Month, where we send a message of purpose and the employees feel identified with the mission of the company. We celebrate teamwork and collaboration. It's not about you being successful is about making others successful. It's about adopting best practices from others. So we become much more team players and we collaborate with each other. Driving our culture internally means also communication, and you never stop communicating. It's so relevant. We have different technologies and we accelerate the communication in different ways. Monthly, we have a Q&A with Satya. I personally work at Loud, so I like to communicate to my team through Teams or through Yammer or through different channels what I'm doing this week, in which subsidiary I am, which customers I am meeting. I love to lead from the front. I love to explain how the culture becomes a reality, how we are supporting our customers with digital transformation. And last but not least, I think the three learnings is stay humble, stay the course. We are doing progress. The market is recognizing us and we feel very proud, but the reality is this is just the beginning, and we are really excited to continue learning and stay very alert to our own mistakes and show up humble to our customers to be able to help them. The cross-group collaboration, the growth mindset also translate to collaborate with everybody and become, as a real example, become one of the top contributor to open source community, have millions of fans on Surface Premium, many angles that are enabling us to be partners. I hope you enjoyed this event, and the intention is to show different angles on the future of work. Melanie Sharp will show you how we are transforming HR. Gail, my CFO controller, will show you how we are transforming finance. And I will personally come back to explain the personal experience from a sales lead. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
My name is Arti Thapar, and I lead customer success for our talent solutions business here at LinkedIn. I'd like to spend the next 10 minutes talking to you about the top trends that we as leaders need to keep abreast of as we look to transform our organizations and build the workforce of the future. I feel very humbled and proud to work for an organization that has a vision to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. To realize our vision, we rely on our unique data platform called the Economic Graph. The Economic Graph is a digital representation of the global economy based on over 600 million members, 50,000 skills, 30 million companies, 20 million open jobs, and 84,000 schools. Through mapping every member, every company, every job, and every school, we're able to spot trends like talent migration, hiring rates, and in-demand skills by region. These insights help us connect people to economic opportunity in new ways. Using LinkedIn's Economic Graph data, today I want to share two important trends that are transforming the global workforce. We believe these trends are going to change the way you work, the way you build teams, the way you make decisions, and the way you future-proof your business for success. The first trend is the impact of AI and automation on the evolution and emergence of jobs. We've seen numerous reports on how the rise of AI and workplace automation has the potential to drastically change the future of work and make some jobs obsolete. Past experience tells us that while some jobs become obsolete, new jobs are created and existing jobs also evolve. The question I want to pose to you is, do you have a sense of what your future organization will look like as a result of AI and automation? How are you thinking about evolving your workforce through this transformation? Let's first talk about the evolution of existing roles. According to the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report, with the advancement of AI and robotics, it is estimated that machine task hours will rise from 29% to 42% 5 years from now. This means that 42% of the repetitive administrative work that your employees do will be automated. Why is this important? Because automation will enable your employees to focus on solving more complex issues. Take telesales as an example. Today, there are bots already available in the market that can immediately respond to large volumes of customer queries, leaving time for your sales force to deal with more strategic deals and projects. We've also seen that traditional roles are evolving into new hybrids before our eyes. More and more, we see that companies are hiring people who can do multiple roles. Take data scientists in Singapore, a classic example of a hybrid role. Not only do data scientists need to know their way around data, they also need to have strong communication and stakeholder management skills to relay the analysis back to business stakeholders. This is another example of the evolution of a role to have multifaceted skills. What does this mean for you as a leader? As automation increases, you will need to hire differently and grow a new set of skills amongst current role holders. This is also going to require a cultural transformation where learning new skills and adapting to role changes becomes a part of the DNA of your organization and your employees. It is not only existing jobs that will evolve. New jobs are emerging more rapidly than at any other time in modern history. Jobs that sounded obscure a few years back, like customer success managers, are becoming commonplace today. In fact, based on LinkedIn data, we've seen a 10x growth in customer success managers in Australia in the last 5 years. I myself have had a non-traditional career path, having worked across numerous countries and functions, from HR to management consulting, internal comms, talent management, and now customer success. Starting my career as an HR officer nearly 20 years ago, I would never have predicted that I would today be leading a customer success function. To be honest, I hadn't even heard of customer success a few years ago. What's been important to me in navigating my career with agility is having a growth mindset and developing transferable skills. As a consequence of new jobs emerging, you will need to consider how you are building agile organizational structures to bring these new roles into organizations and carefully consider the strategy for hiring or growing talent into these new roles. This means that you should be thinking about hiring for tomorrow rather than hiring for today and creating platforms for learning and opportunities for employees to upskill themselves. The second important trend that I want to talk about today is the rise of soft skills. With every business today being a digital business in some way, shape or form, there's a pressing need for hard skills that are technology related. However, did you know that the number one skills gap we are actually seeing in Asia Pacific is related to soft skills? While the shelf life of many hard skills is shrinking, soft skills stay relevant for far longer. A particular programming language may go out of fashion, but creativity, adaptability, collaboration, and leadership skills will always be valuable. These are the skills that machines can't replace. Soft skills can make or break a hire, and they can also make or break a company. 92% of talent professionals say they matter as much or more than hard skills when they hire, and the absence of soft skills limits an organization's productivity and an individual's effectiveness. What does this mean for you as a leader? When you think about building a learning and development plan for your organization with the aim of upskilling, you need to have a robust plan around building soft skills related capabilities in your workforce. The answer could be building internal programs led by the L&D team or investing in learning platforms that provide a wide range and an easy avenue for learning soft skills. These two macro trends around the evolution of jobs and the emergence of soft skills bring up natural questions about the future of the organization. These questions need to be answered today in order for you to be ready for what lies ahead tomorrow. If you're a recruiting leader, you'll want to know, How do I hire for jobs that did not exist 5 years ago? If you're an L&D leader, you'll be asking, how can I predict and get ahead of where the skills gaps in my workforce will be? How do I upskill and reskill my existing workforce to rise to the challenge? If you're a CHRO, you'll want to know, how do I influence business strategy by making talent a competitive advantage? These talent-related questions are not restricted only to the HR function. Today, every CHRO and every business leader is invested in building a workforce that truly drives competitive advantage for their business. As leaders, experience and instinct play a huge role in decision-making and answering some of the questions I have raised here. In addition to experience and instinct, it's becoming more and more critical to have the right data and insights in order to make better talent decisions, understand how your workforce compares to competitors, and elevate your impact. Our customers have been using insights in jobs, skills, and talent pools to make some very important decisions, such as where should we open our new office? How can we reduce attrition? How do we build a gender-balanced workforce? To learn more about the insights that LinkedIn can offer and how you can create a culture of data-driven thinking and decision-making, please join the LinkedIn-hosted virtual conference on the 16th of May. As I wrap up this session, there are two key messages that I want to leave you with, two areas that you can start thinking about. Firstly, what is the future vision for your business and your workforce? And secondly, is your organization equipped with the right talent and skills needed to fulfill this vision? If there's one thing that's constant in the talent landscape, it's perpetual change. As the business world in general shifts, new skills and new promising jobs are bound to fall in and out of favor. Being able to predict these trends and respond early by utilizing insights will be key to building the workforce of the future. Thank you.
More likely to achieve breakthrough performance in companies that neglected culture. When our CEO Satya Nadella took over from Steve Ballmer in 2014, he envisioned a new mission for Microsoft. We were here to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. This became our rallying cry. We reorganized the company to reflect the new focus on customer solutions. It was Peter Drucker who first said, "Culture eats strategy for breakfast." A company is defined by the people who power it. You can have two companies created at the same time, in the same market, pursuing the same strategy, but they're still going to be two very different entities. And that's because it's all about the people. The people work very differently. And even if they come together in the service of something greater, they're still going to retain their own unique personalities, passions, hopes, and dreams. I like to envision this like an oyster. The conditions that surround people as they work will generate something very distinct from them, and perhaps even a pearl may emerge. While Satya said he is the chief curator of our culture, he was adamant that our employee base was engaged in our cultural evolution. So what did we do? For this first year that Satya was in his new role, his L team met every Friday for 4 hours. They spent time getting to know each other. What were their hopes, their fears, their dreams, their loves? Then they set out to define our culture. At the foundation of this was growth mindset, what I believe is the secret sauce to any cultural shift. Satya and the senior L team knew that we had to move from a know-it-all to a learn-it-all culture. Change takes time. This is the model that we use for our own culture change. We address each of the components: customer obsession, diversity and inclusion, one Microsoft collaboration, and making a difference with intention in an ongoing and iterative way. We also looked at activating our culture through a framework of behaviors, systems, symbols, and storytelling. We knew we had to shift mindset and get our disparate orgs collaborating and hacking together. We did away with our annual company meeting, and we transformed into our one-week hackathon across the world, where employees come together and innovate and hack technology issues. We had to articulate and reinforce the behaviors we wanted to see that were aligned to our culture if we wanted to see that shift. We took a look at our systems, our organizational processes, our tools such as operating rhythms, feedback processes, listening systems, and core priorities that reinforce the culture. We shifted our performance evaluation system to assess employees' collaboration and their ability to build off the ideas of others rather than just their own personal heroics. We changed our feedback system for one of full transparency. We looked at our rewards and recognition and rituals to ensure we were reinforcing the values of what mattered most to us: environmental stewardship, diversity of language and place, growth mindset. And finally, we started to tell our story and ensure our leaders were equipped to do so as well. So employee advocacy is a key story we want to proliferate. The great working culture we create through volunteer days, diversity and inclusion programs, our teaming and collaborative spirit, we had to do a better job of telling these good news stories broadly. And we knew we needed technology to scale all of this. Over the years, we've evolved our approach to communication and have landed on 3 pillars that we target with consistency. When we communicate, we drive cultural awareness and engagement. We drive confidence in our leadership and our strategy, and we build pride. Our company portal, MSW, is built on SharePoint. Employees come here for company news, event information, and to access anything from a campus map to the CEO Connection Forum to submit questions for the monthly CEO Q&A, everything under the sun. The content is curated and updated daily, making sure that it's always fresh, relevant information, and there are built-in links that make it easy to share content on social and ask a question on Yammer, which has been pivotal and a great integration point for us. How do we reach 125,000 employees globally has been a challenge that we're using technology to help solve. Satya has a monthly Q&A where he engages our employees. For online viewers, there's a live Yammer feed and a real-time sentiment analysis from Bing Pulse. Folks can interact through Yammer and also share a thumbs up or thumbs down to what is being talked about. This really helps us provide a real-time transcript that's translated in multiple languages and is searchable. For people who miss it, they can go back and watch it later, and of course you can watch it on your mobile device. The introduction of workplace analytics has also been a huge game changer for our leadership to drill into where we can focus our transformation. Harnessing the power of the Microsoft Office 365 graph, which pulls metadata on how we behave and interact with productivity technology, we're able to drill into areas like our onboarding process, what makes the most successful experience for a new employee and builds her network in the fastest, most effective way. How are our top sellers collaborating internally and with customers? What are they doing with their time? What do our top people managers do? All of this we can now see and define now thanks to workplace analytics. And the feedback we're getting from the media and the market, it's validating. It's validating what we're doing, it's working. I love this quote from Satya, which really sums up where we are today as a company. Listen, if you want to be cool, go look and work for someplace else. But if you want to join a company that's committed to making others cool, join Microsoft. That's what we stand for today, and I'm really excited about our journey ahead. Thank you so much for joining me on this topic, and if it gets you going, please check out our additional resources. Our 10 things we've learned about culture is my personal favorite. Thanks so much for your time today.
Hi, I'm Yamini Chinnaswamy. I'm the lead journalist with HRM Asia, and I'm joined today by Melissa Keith, the Chief HR Officer of Quark Singapore Group, which is one of Asia's most dynamic multinational conglomerates, and also Melanie Sharp-Ensir, who is Microsoft HR Lead, Services HR Lead for Asia, and she's got more than 10 years of experience working with business clients. Welcome to you both. Thank you for joining us. Today we'll be discussing innovations in HR and how technology has been advancing transformation in the talent function. So Melissa, you've been in the HR world for 25 years now, so you've probably seen a whole lot of changes in the landscape. Maybe you could talk us through the big ones from your perspective.
Well, a lot have changed. My 25 years, I remembered, I started with financial industry, then I went to high-tech industry, then chemical, healthcare, and now with the Asian conglomerate. To me, there are 3 parts that I will respond to that. First is what happened in the past, what happened now, and what will likely happen in the future. So when I look at HR in the past, the function is seen as a back-end function, providing administrative support, mainly supporting role, focusing on compliance to labor laws, and more reactive in terms of the role we play in supporting the business. And then with a lot of globalization, a lot of MNC expand their focus globally, that has also provided added push to many companies in a lot of countries to look into how we better utilize technology. And I've seen improvements in terms of process systems and how we continue to improve the workforce management. Fast forward to now, I see HR role as a business partner. It's important because how we continue to add value to the business is, first and foremost, we need to understand what the business is all about, what it's trying to achieve, the impact, the vision, and how we're going to get there is with the people. Therefore, as HR leaders, we need to first be HR business partners. And from that perspective, add our value, not just for the current, but also for the immediate and long-term perspective. Now, thinking about the future, I see HR as an integrator, as a connector, as an enabler, and more importantly, one that be able to look into the future, sort of a futurist, right? The eternal optimist to really rally the organization forward. Therefore, we play a multiple roles here, where we need to not just be good in engaging the workforce, but we need to be able to anticipate the needs of the organization in the future and prepare the workforce for the future.
I mean, I definitely agree with you about that movement from being a transactional function to more maybe value-adding, especially as technology can start taking away some of the lower level tasks. And actually, talking about the workplace of the future, it gets me thinking about the disconnect that maybe we feel between our consumer lives and our employee lives. Once we step into the office, it's like we go back in time. It's back in the 1990s. We're no longer, on sleek interfaces. And I mean, that's not necessarily true, but actually, Melanie, maybe you can sort of weigh in on the sort of latest HR and technology innovations that are out there, because especially when you've got Generation Z entering the workforce, they barely remember a time before smartphones and Wi-Fi. So what can organizations do? How can they leverage these new technologies and innovations to, not alienate these employees?
Absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, at Microsoft, we've been on a journey on diversity and inclusion. So we are really trying to bring together all of our workforce. So whether that's our millennials and Gen Z, who are very adept at mobile technology and aren't afraid of artificial intelligence, to maybe some of our more veteran workers, we're really trying to bring all of that together. And so one of the ways that we really leverage that is through our SharePoint technology, where we drive a lot of our employees for self-service so that they can work and help themselves there. But everything's also available on their mobile devices. We have a lot of social platforms that they can leverage as well. So Yammer is one place where they can post about what they're working on, what they're doing, where they're traveling to at one of the many Microsoft offices across the world. We also, in order to enable some of that travel, we've implemented a bot onto our HR platform, where before, when somebody was going to travel to a new country, if they needed a visa immigration letter, they would have to go and look up where the HR partner, who the HR partner was, where they sat, send an email, wait several days in order to get the visa application letter back. And it would take oftentimes days and weeks. We implemented the bot. They go straight there. They put in their request, and within just a 24-hour turnaround, they have the letter back. It's been such an enabler for them. They're used to getting things done in real time, and it's given so much time back to the HR business partner. They can now go back to the work that really matters, right?
Yes.
And is more strategic versus these kind of transactional engagements that used to bog down our organization. So we're really trying to integrate as much technology as we can through all of our platforms to help enable our employees. So whether they're on the go or in front of their desk.
I mean, the bot sounds great, actually, but I can sort of tie that back to some of the more cynical doom and gloom forecasts I've been seeing about, new disruptive technologies. Like, Southeast Asia is going to lose millions of jobs in the next 10 years because of, bots and things like that. On the other hand, I see what you're saying, because it's freeing us up to do higher level stuff. So, and I've seen forecasts that say, hey, we're going to have another million jobs in Southeast Asia by 2025 because of all these higher level tasks that need to be done. So it seems to me there are going to be jobs. They're just going to be different jobs. So I'm kind of wondering how can we as business leaders, as HR leaders, as organizations, how can we help our employees, keep up with these new different jobs, but also, have that continuous learning mindset to be agile enough to be able to keep up with these changes? If either of you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, let me tackle the first one. How do we continue to prepare the workforce so we do not become obsolete, right? And to me, that's something that's key to our people vision in Singapore, because we recognize that we need to change, we need to transform ourselves, we need to continue to move along and move faster. And for us, the focus has been not just to strengthen the competencies, but also, more importantly, to prepare the mindset for change and what we call the growth mindset. And that our employees understand that challenges are okay as long as we learn from it. And also we need to encourage people to learn from successes from others and be inspired by that. And also feedback is food for champions. And I think these are things that we are trying to instill in our workforce, that we can continue to leverage on each other, to learn from one another and from others, so that we can continue to move ahead. Now, why is it important? Because in the digital world that we're talking about, in the industrial revolution that we talk about, 4.0, what's important is that there are changes in all dimensions. In my view, no one person can be the expert. Therefore, it's important that as employer, we learn from one another, whether it's from outside or inside. We build partners and communities of practice that can help enable us to get there. Now, what are we trying to do when we do all this is to really build an agile workforce, because the world of the future is not something we can define in one sentence. Therefore, our focus is in building an agile workforce. And what do I mean by agile? It really literally stands for agility, growth mindset, innovative. We need to have leaders of the future and an engaged workforce, which basically comes back to people. Yeah, because people is really the heart of the organization. And with that, we will be able to move along and face whatever that comes together and continue to add value to our customers.
I mean, what you're saying, it really sounds like tackling it as a mentality and a mindset, and not just one specific skill that has to be, acquired.
Yes.
And Melanie, would you agree that that's how you see it?
Absolutely. I truly believe that this growth mindset culture and the culture work is the most pivotal thing that HR and business leaders can focus on as they're implementing a digital transformation in their organization. Yeah. Just going back to the point of continuous learning, one of the things that we've really focused on is making sure that our leaders are role modeling the kind of continuous learning we're also expecting from our workforce. So even earlier this week, our head of global HR sent an email out to 1,000 HR employees saying, this is how I'm actually blocking the time in my diary to spend the time on a MOOC. So this is a massive open online course, and we have them on offer through our Microsoft Learning platform, and really focusing his time and his attention and blocking out his days and role modeling the kind of continuous learner mindset and actions that are really going to be necessary for all of us to keep up with the pace of change.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it really sounds like, I think, setting the example is really going to be crucial to this. So I guess on that note, maybe each of you could share a parting thought about HR's continuing role in enabling and sort of pushing and driving transformation, really.
Well, for me, we have to be the eternal optimist. My view is that as HR, we should be ready to be a change agent, and more importantly, continue to focus on preparing the workforce for the future. And agile workforce is key. And also remember that we cannot do this alone. So leverage on the partners out there to help us enable that. And more importantly is not to stay in our comfort zone. The way to add value is to move forward. Move forward with times, move forward with technology, move forward with the opportunities that are available. It can be daunting, But to me, managing change is part and parcel of our lives too. How we deal with digital change around our personal lives. So to me, my encouragement to my leaders and employees that if you can do it at home, you can do it at work for sure.
Yes, that's great. Yeah, I mean, change is not going to go away. So
Yes.
it's get on board or just not be around.
Yeah.
And I think one of the key roles that we can play is encouraging our leaders and employees to really understand how difficult change is, and us having empathy for the experience and really being able to relate to one another in an authentic, open way is hugely important. So we're really focused on our leader education and manager education around creating psychological safety and trusting teams. It's only there where you can bring out that inclusive environment and truly allow people to process thoughtfully about the change that they're going through, because everyone is going to be at a different point in their own change journey. So the more empathy that we can have towards one another will foster that inclusive environment.
I think that's a really lovely and fantastic note to sort of end things on, sort of keeping the human in HR, even as technology is sort of taking over the future of work, we've got to remember that that's what we're here for, right? Yes. So I guess on that note, I want to thank you both very much for joining us today, and also thank you to everyone across Southeast Asia who's been watching us. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Journey. Talking about future-ready jobs and future-ready skills. In a world where technology skills are in demand and digital transformation is just right around the corner in the industry, all companies and different organizations are becoming and wanting to be technology-focused companies. What does that mean? It means like when you talk about finance industry, banking, healthcare, research, manufacturing, energy, telecommunications, information technology services, among those things, including the education or public sector. All these organizations that revolves all those industries. Nowadays, it's not about you will only learn technology skills or future-ready skills because your work in technology companies such as Microsoft or Google or Apple. But now, if you work in a different sector or non-tech, since everyone wants to be tech-focused, everyone is undergoing digital transformation. Everyone needs to upskill and reskill in the digital talent space. And part of that are these technology future-ready jobs and future-ready skills. Because of these new technologies in the landscape, new jobs are being reinvented. Artificial intelligence, DevOps, data science, big data, among those others. In the Philippines, or in India perhaps, everyone knows about the business process outsourcing, and the information technology outsourcing industry is very huge, quite huge in those countries. But it doesn't mean that if you work on those sectors and they encounter artificial intelligence opportunities, everyone should be threatened on those technologies. Nowadays, actually, it's an opportunity being perceived by those industries because it's an opportunity to learn everyone, an opportunity to upskill and reskill the workforce of those industries. In CloudSwift, we provided and we built, together with Microsoft as a partner, an end-to-end solution to provide that future-ready skills learning platform solution that has that platform, hundreds of content, certifications, and hands-on labs. In human capital development, it is very important for us to embrace the modern future-ready skills that is geared towards those jobs that are reinvented, and that will just go along across the industry worldwide. Microsoft and its partners are at the forefront of serving and providing and adding more value in those solutions. And that is why it is very important for us to share our knowledge, to share these opportunities and these innovations that can be revolved around future-ready skills, future-ready jobs. Again, thank you. My name is Dan Angelo de Guzman of Codswift, and I'm hoping that you've learned something. Thank you, and have a good day.
I'm Microsoft 365 Education Product Marketing Lead of Microsoft Asia Pacific. We recently completed a key piece of research on the class of 2030. This sounds very far out, but the students are today's kindergartens. They're sitting in the classroom today and will graduate into a world that is changing faster than ever. That generation will face challenges we can't even imagine today. They will learn to engage with each other with technology, with information that is entirely in new ways. They will study university courses that might not even exist today and enter the workforce that would be transformed by automation. So we set out to understand what kind of skills the class of 2030 will need, how best to prepare them through their educational journey and promising role that technology can play to enable that. In constructing this research, we listened to 70 global thought leaders around the world. We reviewed 150 pieces of existing research and conducted a survey of 2,000 teachers as well as 2,000 students across 4 countries. More important, we focus on our subjects, the young people who make up the class of 2030 and those closest to understanding their world. We wanted to know what are their aspirations, experiences, and expectations. As for the findings, the main theme was student centricity, a focus on learners and learning, and approaches like personalized learning, which supports skills development, both cognitive and non-cognitive. The students were clear. They want to develop the skills to navigate their own learning, to explore and make their own choices that unlock their curiosity and potential. They want the teachers who know to understand them as individuals. This generation expects to have a voice that they can expect to be heard and be able to direct and navigate their own learning. Within the context of the student centricity, we found 2 core themes: social and emotional skills, and the second one would be personalized learning. In the future, how we interact with each other matters. What we found out is the future of learning, work, and life is profoundly social. The strongest signal of our study was the need to develop and apply social and emotional skills. While certainly not new in education, these skills are newly important to more people and are taking the center stage alongside deeper cognitive and content. Knowledge in the classroom is key and important as well. They will set key skills across all the aspects of life. Being smart enough to get into college or university is not enough. In fact, social and emotional skills are 2 times more predictive of a student's academic achievement than their home environment or even demographic. Students we survey understand the importance of the skills, with 50% of them including this particular thing in their top 5 priorities for education. And of course, science backs it up. Neuroscientists know that emotion is the gatekeeper of cognition, so social and emotional skills are the fundamental portion of all our learning. This is very critical for the workplace. 30 to 40% of jobs in growth industries will require explicit and social emotional skills moving forward. So as we look into the class of 2030, this might be the most human generation of workers yet. To prepare for this, we need to provide them with tools that would be enabled to promote and develop their social and emotional skills. As we heard from educators throughout our journey, that some of the biggest pain points are simply just managing efficient classroom collaboration in the way that both the teacher and the students will be encouraged to use. Microsoft Teams brings forward these features, and hopefully already using like assignments and class notebooks into one digital hub. So you can save time on everyday logistics and actually focus on promoting collaboration in the classroom even more. We saw an opportunity to create a space that engages the voice within every student. One that helps them build communication and collaboration skills they'll need to be successful in the future. Microsoft Teams delivers on 4 core promises to create the digital workspace of a high-performing classroom. The first one, Microsoft Teams solves for communication, the needs of diverse school environment, and it has evolved into a complete classroom collaboration tool. Chat, voice, video. You can also use Microsoft Teams for informal mentoring or even group chats directly on your phone if you're on the go. Or if you have an open conversation in the classroom with chat channels. This enables teachers and students to share information in a very transparent way to facilitate learning. And it's super easy to set up the digital classroom in cases that being physically present in the classroom is not possible. Second, when it comes to collaboration, the deep office integration enables today's multi-generational school environment to use office apps that they are familiar with and truly love, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, SharePoint Planner, and even Power BI, right within the context of the Teams Hub. As we avoid to actually put in a lot of email attachment and having to search through the latest version of the document, teachers no longer to scan through their emails and note down who has submitted their assignments. Teams brings all Office 365 services together. Monitor students submitting their assignments while the teacher can just track the submission real time and easily integrate a scoring rubric. Third, while every class is unique, one thing that is consistent in every teacher is the need of a variety of apps and tools that the class be more involved. Teams offers an extensible platform that allows a personalized experience to get classwork done better, more efficiently, and more transparently. You can customize the workspace itself by pinning important files, apps, or dashboard in top of each other, in top of the channel for easy reference. Infusing Teams with applications you use every day allows you to better leverage on the apps, tools you love, giving you access to the information you need right in the context of the Teams Hub. Finally, Teams provides industry-leading security and compliance, and of course, rich management capabilities as well. Our mission talks about empowering every person to achieve more and guiding us through the journey of the modern classroom. Just remember the 4 C's: communicate, collaborate, customize and extend, and compliance and security. The link to the class of 2030 research, as well as further information on Microsoft Teams, can be seen at the resource page. Please join me in this journey of the modern classroom. Thank you.